This is a rather old article about Saudi Arabia's oil production. It's not that old, it's from 2011. But they stated that the oil exporter Saudi Arabia has been possibly overstating its oil by nearly 40%, its reserves in oil. You know, a lot of the numbers don't add up as far as, like, you know, how much production they could bring on. I know they brought on more production because of Libya. Now, I want to point out, you know, we know China is coming on stronger and stronger. And as far as their economy is supposed to surpass or be on par with the United States by 2016. You're talking 5 years from now. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I don't know if what exactly the impact is going to be on crude oil consumption. I would assume it would be a great deal, because actually China is increasing crude oil consumption faster than the United States has been. So figure we use 20 million barrels a day, and China would be using 10 right now. If you add another 10 million barrels a day to the equation, that's the entire output of Saudi Arabia. And I want to point out something else. This is Saudi Arabia's oil forecast chart, and you look here, it's 2011 down here in the bottom. Peak year 2011, that's right here. Peak year is 2011 according to this. More than likely, I don't know if this is 100% fact or not, but there's been a number of things coming out from WikiLeaks and all that kind of stuff. I know I don't 100% trust WikiLeaks information, but it does seem, you know, applying a little common sense, they always seem to have the same amount of oil reserves every year, even though they pump out more oil. You know, I almost wouldn't buy them finding that much more all the time. There's another thing though that's going to be going on, and that is, you know, they're talking about these oil production goals they're trying to reach. But this guy says he notes that a previous maximum of oil max Saudi production was 9.5 million barrels a day, and now they're saying that it won't even achieve that over the next 5 years. So, I mean, they already are made up for production for Libya. Okay. Now, there's another thing. I don't have it on here, but Iran has been selling oil to China and India. Now, India can make payments to Iran. I mean, they have the ability to do it. But what's going on, the sanctions with Iran is causing it to be difficult for India to make payments to Iran. That's why they're behind on payments of oil to Iran. So what Saudi is saying, they're going to send the oil to China, to India, excuse me. And you know, Saudi and Iran are not, they're kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum as far as in the Muslim world and the Persian world. So, you know, I don't know where all this oil is going to come from, to tell you the truth. I mean, if Iran can't sell oil to India and it's supposed to come from Saudi, I don't know where they're going to get this production from. There's another thing, and it says it right here, that Saudi Arabia is actually consuming more and more of its own oil. So what's going on is, and you can see this if I could blow this up a little bit more, I know this is an older chart, but I mean, everything still applies today, and the trend is actually more acute today. 2009 exports from Saudi Arabia decreased by 16%. They're using more and more of their own oil, and this goes along with the simple, you could see plain as day, every single country in the world that isn't like the United States right now wants to be like the United States. They want to be driving cars, they want electricity everywhere, they want a manufacturing capability, and all this requires crude oil. Every single one of them wants to be an energy hog like the United States. China will be coming on. I'd imagine China's going to, I mean, say 2016 comes about, China's consuming 20 million barrels a day. The oil's not going to be there. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not going to be there. well before that time, I would think there's going to be a major fight over this resource. Who has it and who doesn't? Um, that's pretty much plain as day. But as far as what's going to happen in the near-term future, I think we're going to see a lot of pressure coming on, and you're going to see this price of oil is going to be expanding greatly. I know it only needs one more country in the Middle East to go down, but you know, even just, and this actually has a lot to do with why the economy is not going to recover unless they find some other alternative energy source. This has a lot to do with why it's not going to recover, right? Because it's not all about the banks, the bankers, the debt, and everything like that, because production of real goods and services is highly energy dependent. Manufacturing, food, transportation, all about oil and the price of oil. It affects everything across the board. And looking at how much is coming on from other areas of the world, this is Asia and Oceania. You know, the United States here is about, I don't know, I think it's 20 million barrels a day. So they have this chart in thousands of barrels a day, so that's 20,000, so it's 20 million if you add 3 zeros to that. And you know, you're looking at this, Asia and Oceania, I mean, it's going to be, just China alone is going to be as big as this red area that's represented by the United States. This will probably almost double this yellow area by 2016. So, and even to look at the Middle East, yeah, maybe, you know, they look like they're at pre-peak production, but on top of that, they're using more and more of the oil for themselves. And this can actually probably go along with something Lindsey Williams said with the elite, because what they will do, and this is pretty much it, they'll use you know, the Saudi family for as long as they possibly can to keep them in control. Once they think they're running lower and lower on oil, or they're not going to be exporting as much or whatever because they're using it within their own country, let's say to hell with them. That's it. They're done. You know, so this actually probably has a hell of a lot more to do with what's going on in economic conditions more than anything. I know the debt and the debt scam and all that kind of stuff, but I think people aren't looking at this peak oil theory. It's not really a theory as much as people think. I know there's scam, like there's so many numbers out there with oil production, oil reserves, you know, and they talk about they got the Bakken reserve. Well, you know, the Bakken reserve isn't in a nice, easy place to get oil either. I mean, it's not like you're pumping out light sweet crude. It's stuff that it's very energy intensive to process all that oil. Infrastructure's not there. All that's got to be built. And you know, maybe the oil is there for like 100 years or something, but you know what? It's not going to be cheap. And if it's not cheap, guess what happens? That affects the economy in every respect there is. So I think that has a lot to do with the global downturn. You know, hopefully there's going to be another source of energy soon, because this, if we're still dependent exactly on oil, and I'm not some kind of green person. I really just believe in manufacturing, production. I'm not even that super concerned about the environment or anything from that angle. But just looking at reality, this stuff is getting more and more expensive, and you know, the way the demand's coming on, it doesn't take that much of a shortage to drive the price up double. You don't have to be down 50% in supply to drive the price up double. You're just down a few percent, that it'll do it. So this is most of the problem with the economic outlook, because as soon as the economy starts pumping up again, more demand on crude oil, and it isn't there.